Sure.
Okay, I call this meeting, are you ready? Okay, call this meeting to order 7 p.m. Let's rise and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is that door open?
It is.
Okay. Okay. So we call a special session tonight of the Cameron R-1 School District to discuss superintendent search proposals. And in the agenda, there are 3 proposals that have been provided to board for consideration and discussion this evening. I used ChatGPT and did a little summary that I thought I would hand out, and I'll do one to Kelly too. But now, disclaimer, it's ChatGPT, but yeah, but it's just it's got like core focus, and it compares across the top. You can see on page 1, it's got core focus, recruitment, screening, transition, key terms, and fee. So you can compare by each company. And then page 2 is transition services comparison. And then there's a guarantees comparison. And then the last part was the placement track record, which doesn't take into account any extra information they put into this. But I just thought, when I read through it, I thought it was kind of helpful just to be able to see them side by side, and so I thought I'd share it. I don't know. We're doing open right now. Okay. Are there people waiting? Okay. Yeah. So, I guess just open the floor up for discussion since it's the only item in front of us.
Well, I was in charge of getting information from, is it MARE, or Mayor, and EGL, and I can tell you that the director that oversees MARE was extremely responsive and knowledgeable and very efficient. I can also tell you that MARE is also doing Maryville's superintendent search this next year, if that makes any difference.
Thank you for whoever sent information. Thank you all for that. Kelly has a question.
Are we gonna have a motion to proceed with the meeting agenda?
Oh, sure. Do I have a motion to proceed with?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Clark.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Early. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Thank you.
So Maryville is also using Mare for current search.
Right. And I asked Kevin, I said, what would be the pros and the cons of using the same search agency? And he said that he of course could not see any negatives, that potentially by having the same search agency that widens the pool of candidates that you might get. I also think that it could be, I don't know if we want to be in the same pool as another in the same district or competitor or the conference. That's what I mean, conference.
Right. Yeah, I would think that I when we hired Matt, I was on the board, and we did use MSBA. They, obviously, they did a nice job. They brought us candidates that were of different age, a variety of candidates. So that was a good thing.
Do you remember how involved the board was through the process?
We essentially were given information as to applications. Then there was a recommendation These are we believe the top candidates. We interviewed, I believe it was 8. We did it over a 2-day period. It's been so long.
I know.
And I was not aware of mayor. I do think that there are some things, it's being a rural school that could be helpful.
So with both of those being said, earlier in the month, we had, it was a Maryville board member reach out to us, I think through all of our emails about communications. So I piggybacked onto that email and wrote just a question of how your superintendent search is going and why did you choose MARE? I received an email back and it kind of opened my eyes to it. So, I mean, if everybody would like a copy of what we,
Gotta give it
I got one too.
Yep.
So. I think it was just enlightening to hear why somebody chose them. There's no question asked other than that. So the top one is mine to her, then her response on the bottom. So essentially, it kind of opened my eyes to what the process
There you are.
was, of why
I meant to
they
have
chose
one.
what they did. And it kind of, I know that we're in the same conference for everything, but I think we all want the greater good of education for everybody, right? So that being said, it was kind of nice to reach out to somebody that's gone through the process just recently, and they're in the middle of the process, so.
And so Kelly, is it on the Maryville board?
Yes,
Thank
yeah,
you.
so I reached out to her, she reached out to us for a question, so I just asked one of her. And, I clearly stated that if you don't answer these questions, it's completely fine, but I think it's insightful, just to kind of see what their process looked like. I also dove into their past minutes of their boards to kind of see where they're at within this process also. And I mean, it kind of shows step by step, just because you can see it all. So I just thought I'd share that. I mean, I thought that was a resource of kind of getting outside the box. I mean, at the end of the day, we can call all these people and they can tell us why they're good at their job, or we can ask somebody that's using them to see
Right.
how good they are at their job. So I figured that was.
So their fees are based on the number of students enrolled, correct? So we're looking at, according to their chart, a cost of $5,000. And then I thought I saw an extra fee per hour or something.
Yeah, but it seems as though their plan that they present or propose doesn't have like a community engagement piece. So I asked,
Well, there was something.
I know, I asked,
Okay.
I said, what would that look like as a community engagement, if we added community engagement to the proposal? And he gave me like then the hourly rate, and he's like, but I've never billed a district more than $500 or $700. So still, even with that, it's still be less than MSBA. But I like that MSBA has that community engagement piece already plugged into it.
Established.
Yes.
Correct, and that's a big thing for us.
Mhm.
Well, and I think on the transition support, MSBA's looked like it had more built-in training and, workshops and things to offer that would be included. And I think, depending on who we would get, that financial mentorship that's included, that could be a really important piece, which if we were to go with one that doesn't offer that, then we probably have to go spend some money on that separately.
And I also noticed that Mayor does not have any standing to conduct criminal records checks or credit references that MSBA does.
Given what's happening in Des Moines,
Yeah.
so timely.
So, yeah, I think that's another factor to throw in there.
And then in regards to recruitment, Mayor will be mainly Missouri focused, using mainly Missouri type websites, whereas MSBA will be Missouri Plus. I think they reach out a lot more nationally.
Well, given our proximity to Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, it feels like we should be able to reach beyond
Yeah.
just Missouri, really.
I think one of the things we'll find, I know we did the other time, is that some of the applicants might be people who are retired from other states. And, so I think we kind of have, I mean, it might be instructive to understand that that's a possibility and know where we stand on that sort of thing.
I think one thing we really need to look for though is, I mean, we do have our small hometown values here. We want to make sure we get somebody here that's going to represent that here. We don't want to get too far outside of this and then kind of.
No, I think that as you interview, you will filter that out. I also noticed that, Mayor said the consultant will provide frequent and timely updates to the board designee on the progress of the search. MSBA will give weekly updates to the board designee. So, you know, communication is going to be key here. I do like the fact that MSBA, that we have a track record with them. They've worked with us with superintendent evaluations. We've hired a superintendent through them. I don't know what we used before, Dr. Robinson, but I'm guessing that, you know, all indications is, I'm sorry, but I'm like,
Yeah.
so, all indications is that we had some good experiences with them. And I do kind of like the fact that they would be searching beyond, state of Missouri.
One of the top, it looks like, people on MSBA's team just led the Gallatin and St. Joe searches last year as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, he also was the facilitator for the first CSIP meetings when it was several years ago before I was on board. It was over in Parkview's cafeteria, and I think he was the facilitator for that. So
The gentleman who did the,
very capable, and then Linda Quigley is the finance person, and she would be a wonderful financial mentor, tutor, whatever level you needed. She's working with MSBA.
Okay.
Really helpful.
no, even the workshops that are upcoming at the conference, finance. It does feel, as though MSBA is a relationship that is ongoing, and has been, and supporting the board. I don't see much with the EGL that leads me in that direction, just to get that out there, that separates it in any good way.
There was not much follow-up from him.
Yeah.
So,
I also like the fact that MSBA has kind of a guarantee, that Mayor does not offer. They've been working with Missouri School Board since 1936, so they're definitely vested in.
And I gotta say, it does cause me to pause if Maryville is using, because we will be competing for the same. I mean, we are so close, we're the same size schools.
Yeah.
You know, to compete within their own pool of, well, you can go to Cameron or you can go to
Right.
Maryville, doesn't really sound like a great place to have your search consultant
Right.
sitting. And I know, I'm not saying they wouldn't be professional or attempt to be objective, but I just feel like that situation is not
Right.
a great situation to be in.
And we should say for the online audience, MARE is Missouri Association of Rural Educators, and MSB is Missouri School Board Association, so.
So just to piggyback on what you're saying, you know, there's a lot of cons that I see of using the same company, because Maryville's not very far from here. Our school sizes are very close to the same. Our demographics, everything about this is relatively the same. We're not only does, but that's kind of bad for us to get to them at the same time, right? I mean, you know, we want to get our own pool of candidates that want to come here. You know, Maryville's already started their search. Let's think if we can start our own search with our own people. And I think that that's beneficial to our community, which is what we're here to do.
I didn't notice, do we know of people, of schools similar that are using MSBA? I mean, Gallatin would be smaller.
And that was last year.
last year.
Right.
So this year there were
I know,
That
that
one
was,
was
I
kind
didn't
of
talk to
short
MSBA,
notice too.
so.
That Gallatin one was kind of a short notice deal also.
Was Smithville MSBA? Um,
Columbia used MSBA.
Oh, well,
I don't see Smithville on there.
I do agree that the community engagement piece is going to be important. And I think from everything I've seen, MSBA does a good job with that.
They're already set up to be able to do it.
And have experience.
Yeah.
Something that I really liked on MSBA, before this round of interviews, the lead consultant will meet with each finalist to ensure they and their family's commitment to a move to your district.
Which is important.
Yeah.
If the whole family's not on board, it won't work.
Yes.
If needed, we will host spouse, partner on community tours, professional meetings, etc. So I thought that was really important piece.
So per MSBA's website, current superintendent searches Grandview R2, Green Valley, Tipton, and then under upcoming superintendent, which means they're probably working through a process, Center 58, which is Kansas City, Diamond,
South, Southwest,
Independence, and Willow Springs.
very far away.
Well, and I gotta think, my assumption would be that if you're a candidate and you're looking, you could have your name with all three of these, mayor, EGL, and MSBA. So just because you use one doesn't mean you're not gonna get the candidates that are with the other ones, because
Right.
they should be in the pool for all of them. So I'm not sure that saying that you get a broader pool of candidates is necessarily.
Well, one thing that they do say, that they have local and national postings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that
National
would be,
Affiliation of Superintendent Searches, MSBA is the only search firm who can use this site.
And I think we could say, I mean, our direction would be, we want candidates who are a cultural fit for our community, right? And so we're not gonna want someone from Los Angeles unless they're someone who grew up in a small town close to here and they just wanna come back home.
and
Something like that, right?
MSBA will help us write up that description of what we were looking for. So just because, it would be so sorry. Just because it would have a broad reach,
They would screen it for us.
they would screen it, and there's a lot of small town, people out there. And that's a bad way of saying that, but people with values that would fit well in Cameron.
I really like the post-search support that MSBA offers.
I think that's something that is, they say right there, it's unique to MSBA. So I mean, whenever you read this whole packet that they submitted to us, that right there, this doesn't stop after we have somebody hired, right?
Exactly.
But this keeps going, and we've been fortunate with longevity around here, and I think that's what we're looking for moving forward. So we want to try to instill that, and if we have somebody that's gonna help us afterwards, just with whatever that may be. We use MSBA for various items. You guys have been on the board longer than I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I feel pretty confident that MSBA is going to do a great job for us. They're familiar with our community, they're familiar with our school system.
So the fee structure, I mean, it is a little more.
Yes.
I saw this over 7,800 for MSBA.
Yeah, so they are flat with extras you can add on, right? But the flat includes some of the things that the others include
Right.
too. And it's got the guarantee with it, so it really is.
Yeah.
Not that we wanna use the guarantee.
Right.
Rather not.
And I do believe that the people at MSBA are really plugged in a lot of different, and again, not to say the other places, but that's just been our experience with those people. They're aware of.
So in MSBA's packet, the sample search timeline, does that work? I mean, did everybody kind of see what?
Yeah, let me get myself.
And this is a long process. I mean, I'm glad that we're
Yeah.
starting it
And
now.
that's the reason for starting right now is
Yeah.
what this is gonna take to complete this process. It's gonna take some time. So I mean, just their sample research timeline, really.
Yeah.
We're in line with the dates that
Yeah,
we're putting on here,
We
so.
should, yeah, we should be very close to that. And there's probably a little bit of wiggle room there.
Yeah,
It's
Fine.
page 2 has another thing about planning, what happens the next stage, and recruiting, screening, hiring, post-search support.
Yeah.
So I like how they kind of narrow that down, give us deadlines and
They do.
specifics.
Yeah, because I mean, it's gonna be a long process, but, you know, we're hoping to find the right candidate out of it. You know, we don't want it to drag where they're showing, like, this is how we're gonna structure this timeline, and recruitment process, and bring these people to you. So, I mean, you know, as long as the plan goes well, then, I mean, we've got a good plan here. I don't think Mayor would do us bad by any means, but
No,
I think both of these, like you said, I mean, I think the 2 out of the 3 kind of stand amongst themselves.
I agree.
And then whenever we separate the 2, you know, with a school district close to us using the other service, I think it's gonna be tough to jump onto that. I mean, and I wish them all the best in the world for their search, but I mean, I think that us having our own search has a benefit to the Cameron School District, which is what we're here for.
I agree. Yeah, I think that timeline is pretty, maybe off by just a month of what we did, not to go back to last time, but it worked out pretty well. I think we hired right before Christmas, so this looks like a very reasonable timeline, and this is the time of year where superintendents move. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very common.
I make a motion that we use MSBA for superintendent search.
So I have a motion from Mrs. Peck that we use the SBA for the superintendent search.
I would second
I have a
that.
second by Mrs. Clark. Is there any further discussion before we can vote?
Is this a time where we need to talk about costs and extra costs associated with that, or are we just gonna, do we need to, because you know, there's add-ons and everything. I mean,
Oh, sure.
Where did you
Is
see the
that-
add-ons? Because my,
Well,
everything I see is like flat.
Fee structure there, but it looks like it says there's no additional billing for services outlined in this proposal.
Okay.
Right.
But there might be things that would not be outlined in that, so.
Just thought it'd be worth a discussion right now, that way,
Yes.
in case we run into a
Yes.
scenario that we need to add something or
Yeah.
take it away, it's on the record.
What's in the proposal covers what we're looking for this, and so if there are add-ons, you know, would it be, we're gonna send them to a conference that's not on the list, a
Right.
seminar that's not on the list, we're gonna hire someone to do some individual training or mentoring beyond the time periods, like those kinds of things. But in terms of what isn't included here, I don't, nothing strikes me as like glaringly not part of the package already.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah,
And you have that guarantee.
And it would be, it goes without saying that a search of this nature is not something that we can just all call people we know, and this is just something that we can do. It would be extremely advantageous to have this and the support and all of the things that, all of the reach that
Well-
they're gonna have.
and to provide just a different perspective from a private employer, something like this will cost you 25% of their salary. You'll pay relocation costs, you'll pay, I mean, there's all sorts of expenses that happen. But this is the level of support you would receive from like a private search firm for, say, a company that's going out to find. You know, they'll put the ads out and bring you the candidates and screening and handle it. I mean, this level of support is what you expect, but 25% is much more than $7,800.
Yeah,
So for what we are getting for that money, that's actually very, I bet a lot of companies wish they could
Yes.
just spend $7,800, so. And what you're buying is their network,
Yes.
their platforms where they have reach, they have name recognition that we don't have, they have experience we don't have, they have people that have seen what works and what doesn't, they have people that interview candidates
Support.
and families to screen whether they're willing to come and ferret out issues before they become issues. You've just got a whole host of benefits by having someone that this is what they do, to hiring someone to do it as opposed to doing it yourself, because the odds of being successful doing it ourselves are, I don't know what they are. I'm not even gonna try, but they're not as good.
They're not as
They're
good.
not as good.
That's fair to say.
So. Okay, so any further discussion? So I have a motion by Mrs. Peck and a second by Mrs. Clark in favor of MSBA. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Okay. I believe that is all we have. The next meeting of the Board of Education is October 21st. With 6 p.m. closed session, 7 p.m. open session. And with that, I will take a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 610-02-1, paragraph 3 and 2. Moved by Mrs. Early, second by Mr. Grenier. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Thank you.